Started. I do want to just initially say sorry for all the crazy meeting invitations. I was having some Google Calendar and Zoom scheduling challenges that day, but thankfully everybody is here. It looks like we've got about 13 people on the line, maybe probably have a few more join us. If you were in the last meeting, in last week's Zoom session, there's not any new information to deliver today. So I'll give you the opportunity to hang up if you were in last week's. This is just kind of the makeup session. But if you were in that session and you want to stay on just to have a refresher, that's great too. So all are welcome. So thank you so much for joining us. NC State's Day of Giving, if you're not really familiar with it, last year was the first time this happened. And there was an opportunity to give to Extension last year, but that opportunity did not extend outside of that state enhancement fund. And I may be using some of the wrong language. Kathy Kennel can correct me if I misstate something in terms of the funds. But what we've done this year is Advancement worked really hard to make sure that we are enabling giving at the local level for counties. So that's the really exciting news, that you can kind of use the NC State Day of Giving as a way to raise money for your local programs and services. So that's just really cool. So what we're trying to do is to give you all the tools you need to make that as easy as possible. Some counties may want to take some initiative and localize some content, and if so, that's great. But we're going to give you everything you need to do this without having to take that extra step, just knowing that not everybody has a marketer on staff and so forth. So you can just pick this up and run with it, or you can localize it using pictures of your 4-H'ers or your agents, to whatever degree you want to go. So just really quickly, we're in the middle of the opening remarks right now. I'm going to throw some contacts up on the screen, so you'll have our names. I'm going to introduce a couple of other folks here in just a second. We're going to talk about your role as your county representative. I'm going to give you an important reminder. If you don't remember anything else, I'm going to ask you to remember one thing. And then Sarah Awad is going to take you through our county toolkit that we have online. We can take questions. Justin Moore is on the line. He's going to be monitoring the chat box for us today. I think all of you probably know Justin. He's our Director of Marketing and Communications. Kathy Kennel, I think, was going to try to call in. She may not. Kathy, if you're there, can you just say hey real quick? Okay, I'm going to assume Kathy's not with us, but Kathy Kennel is the person who can answer questions related to the funds. If you don't have a local kind of Ag Foundation fund or something like that, Kathy can kind of explain to you how that all is going to work. And then Sarah Awad is right here beside me.
Hi, everyone.
You may have met Sarah through some social media training, but she is our NC State Extension social media specialist. She knows more about all this stuff than the rest of us do, so she'll do a lot of talking today. But what I've put on the screen really quickly is all 4 of the folks I just introduced, all of our information. I guess I didn't introduce myself. I'm Julie. So I'm your county marketing and communications specialist. I've been doing some marketing planning training around the state. So hopefully I've met at least some of you before. If not, I hope to meet you very soon. But this is how you can find us, and we will be sending out an email probably tomorrow, just kind of recapping a lot of this information, so you'll get these contacts that way as well. All right, so what are we asking you to do as your county representative? Basically, you're the person that we're reaching out to, and whether you do this literal work yourself or you delegate it, that's completely up to you. But basically what the ask is that you post the provided content to your county pages, and for if you've got agents, if you yourself or other agents are on social media personally, please share it to get the word out to your personal networks as well, and encourage your coworkers to do the same. So you're kind of that voice championing Day of Giving in your office. We want you to work with the local team to make sure everybody knows what this is in case folks are getting questions while they're out in the field. let them know that, yes, this is local giving this year, which is exciting. Encouraging coworkers to connect one-on-one with loyal customers. I'll go ahead and say the university has asked that we don't create new mass communications. So we do not want you to sit down and create a new email that you send to every customer who's ever darkened your doors. What we want you to do is share the materials that have been created for you, or if you want to write original content, that it's a one-to-one email. It's a text message you send to a couple of loyal customers. Or it's an email that you send out to your advisory council asking them to be supportive. But trying to keep those communications personal, where you can put your personal touches in there. And then the other thing that we really, really, really need you to do is to make sure that your county's unique URL is being used in all your communications. You do not have that URL yet. We will give it to you a little closer to the date to try to avoid confusion, because basically when you receive your county URL, let's say Watauga County's URL goes to them, if someone clicks on it immediately, they're basically going to go to a page that tells them to come back on the day of giving. So there's really no point in that URL going out right now. But for the actual day of giving, you will have that unique URL. So if you forget everything else we say today, remember that you have to use the unique URL. Otherwise, there's not going to be a way for us to track funds back to your county, and it would go into the general extension funds. So very, very important. You will have, I'll pick on Watauga County again. So Watauga County is going to have a unique URL for general extension giving, and you're also going to have one for your 4-H giving. So really there's two. And the reason we did it that way is because I think 4-H probably has a lot of individual social media accounts or other communications. So the 4-H is treated kind of separately as far as day of giving goes. So there's general county extension and there's 4-H giving. If you do not use the unique URL again, we're not going to be able to track that money back to your county. So it's very, very important. All right, at this point, we're going to shift over and we're going to move to the Day of Giving Toolkit. So I am going to try to do that, which is challenging. In show.
Yeah, I think you have to stop here.
I'll look through there.
You might have to stop the share first and then
I'll
share
stop.
the desktop. Yeah, that's what we had to do last time.
Okay. Share screen.
And then the
desktop.
Yeah. And then share.
And then share. All right. Can you guys see my screen at this point? I see the very top of Jim's head and he's nodding. So there he is. Okay. All right, so I talked for a moment about your individual role. We're going to talk about the county's role for just a second, and then Sarah will talk. But just to show you quickly how to get here, this is the actual toolkit. If you just go just to the main intranet page, then you're going to see this huge box right here. Just click on that. That's so you don't ever have to worry about losing a link. Just go to the internet and you can find it quickly and easily. So you just scroll through, hey, Dr. Bonanno, right there. All right, so quickly, your county's role is basically sharing the content that's provided, or if you want to go the extra mile, create some of your own. Making sure that you're utilizing all the communications platforms that you can. Like I said, coordinating efforts among local agents to get them to talk to those loyal customers. The folks who utilize extension services quite often are the ones who are going to be more likely to give. They're kind of your low-hanging fruit, so to speak. We also are asking that the appropriate person in your offices talks to that advisory council and kind of encourages them to be advocates for you. They can give themselves, obviously, but they're going to be very dialed in folks who can help spread the word. So getting them on board is, I think, really important, a great way to boost your efforts. And then also, letting us know when there's challenges or questions, if you see something that's not working right, this is the first time that we have done Day of Giving locally in the counties with these individual funds and all of that. So let us know what challenges you run into. We did get a question in the last meeting about a lot of times folks are hesitant to give money online, and that's absolutely fine. But what we would need would be you as the representative could take a cash or a check donation, and that's going to need to be routed to Kathy Kennel with the Agricultural Foundation. So her information is right here on the website. You can see it there. But that's what you're going to do with cash or check donations, and it would need to be very clearly labeled with Day of Giving, so she knows that it counts toward that particular effort. I should say. All right, Sarah, I think you're on.
All right. Hi, everyone. So like Julie mentioned, my name is Sarah Watt, and I run the social media channels for both NC State Extension as well as the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences here at NC State. So as we're scrolling down this toolkit, you'll see we have this header up here, communications assets. So we've developed a number of assets that you can use as you are pushing out the content and spreading the word about Day of Giving. So one of the first things that we have are social media items. So if you click in here, we have a Google Sheet set up for general extension posts. So here it's divided by the week that we suggest that you post this content, along with like a key theme. So for March 2nd, we're saying like announce that NC State is having a Day of Giving. And then throughout the weeks, we also have different focuses because extension is so broad. So we have like agriculture posts, food and nutrition, 4-H posts. And then we have it broken down between two social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter, because those seem to be the platforms that are used most often within the counties. And then we'll have like a column here too that says like a web page link. So right now, before Day of Giving, we're not encouraging you all to really point them to a specific link. Like Julie was saying though, on March 25th, Day of Giving, we'll want you to use with your post, link to that unique county giving page. And then the link to the image, I'm gonna show you like a folder where we have a bunch of graphics with the March 25th, like Day of Giving, save the date information on there that you all can use to go along with these posts. With these posts, you can basically just copy and paste it and then fill in the blank. So like, for instance, this first Facebook post says, celebrate at NC State Day of Giving on March 25th by supporting local extension programs. Save the date, we're giving pack to, and then you would put in your county name. So we're hashtag giving pack to Watauga County Cooperative Extension, for example. So you can do that super easy, like a Mad Libs version. If say you don't have a lot of time to spend on this effort, you're kind of like a one-man band and have a lot of other responsibilities. Or you can kind of take it to the next level and get more personalized with your content and kind of very much tailor it to your specific county. So like you can go into more of the specific reasons about like what makes your county different from the rest of the 100 counties that we have in North Carolina, and give into like more specific reasons to find like why people would be compelled to give back to that county, if that makes sense. So this is just the general extension messaging that we have. So if I go back to the toolkit, we also have another sheet for 4-H posts. So again, divided into Facebook and Twitter. Something else that I kind of wanted to mention too, we have listed kind of like the posting cadence that we suggest for you to post on your channels. So like for March 2nd, this week, we're saying post one time to Twitter, once to Facebook, and then we kind of like have it ramped up a bit. Like as we get to Day of Giving, we're asking you to post like a little more. It's kind of just also you have to keep in mind too, like how often you tend to post to Facebook, how often you tend to post to Twitter. Typically, like on our platforms, Twitter is the platform where we hit people the hardest and where we're tweeting the most. So like on the actual day of giving, I'm going to be tweeting from extensions accounts like at least twice every hour. I'm going to be scheduling these posts in advance. So we'll have like 48 tweets at least going out on that day, just to give you an idea of kind of the cadence that we're going at. So kind of like just tailor it to how often you typically post on your platforms. Don't make all of your posts suddenly just be about day of giving, because that might be a little weird for your followers if like you typically don't tweet every maybe like 2 weeks or something like that.
And our ask is really low here.
Yeah.
I think we're no more than 2 or 3 times on any given day, and that's just on the day of. Most of the weeks leading in, like this week and next week, and I think even the following week, we're only asking for 1 Facebook post and 1 Twitter post. And if you don't have both of those channels, that's fine. Just use what you do.
Yeah, and also like be on the lookout for the content that we're pushing out, especially like on Twitter. It always helps if you want to like retweet us or quote tweet us, to help spread that message even further.
Just remember, you have a unique URL.
Yeah. So now moving on from like the text copy that you'll use, there is a link to go to a graphics folder. So you can click on that. And we have a bunch of different graphics that you can use on your social images. So I'm just gonna go through like a few of them. So like here, this is one's more 4-H themed. A lot of the first ones are kind of more 4-H-y.
And I will say, we are continuing to update this. We just put in some additional ag pictures and food and nutrition pictures today that the branding is going on now. So those will be up probably by tomorrow.
Yeah, so this one right here is more of like an agriculture focus. I use this one a lot. I love this photo. This one would be more like for forestry purposes. So you can kind of like go through there and see what makes sense for your county. And then let me get back up that.
I was just going to add a quick note about those graphics. While this is in the social media section, that graphics folder does have a couple of vertical shots, which is more what you're going to need if you update your your digital billboard.
So something else to note with the graphics, if you want to create your own specific graphics, like maybe include like your county name on there or something like that, we have just like a day of giving kind of image gallery if you wanted to put your own text over some of these. So we kind of just pulled some images that might be good to use as well that don't have any text on them in case you wanted to customize it and go that second level, similar to what I was saying with like the text for your posts. And then we also have some extension photo albums here as like a resource to divide it into different categories like agriculture, food and nutrition, research. So just to show you, when we pulled up like our general extension spreadsheet over here, the link to the image, are we going to update that?
I will drop in links to specific images, but you can use whatever image you want. But I will just make suggestions in there.
Yeah, so I know someone had emailed me about like our last session, like wondering like, oh, is there a specific image we need to use because that was blank. So when we get time, we'll like update that just to like help you guys in case you see all these images, don't really know what to use and you feel overwhelmed.
Hey, real quick, when can we start posting or using it, like some of the images? It just so happens one of my agents is in one of the images. So for social media posting, can we go ahead and start?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we started pushing out Day of Giving content on February 25th because that was like a month out from Day of Giving. So we figured that's a good time to kind of share the save the date information. And then we have like different tools like a social media image sizing tool if you are creating your own images just to see like making sure that it fits the certain dimensions needed for each platform. And then we have stuff here too outside of social media if you want to work on digital billboards. Okay,
I'll just open the PDF.
yeah. If it'll load. Okay, it looks like it's not loading,
Okay.
but you can click on that.
We had this issue.
Yeah.
It doesn't like to load with the screen share for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
So we have some resources there for digital billboards as well, but you can also use like some of the social graphics that I was showing you for your digital billboards as well.
And the digital billboard has been put together so it's kind of a fill in the blank. You can add your call to action. You will want to add your unique URL when that comes out. Up until that time, you'll just be promoting the save the date piece.
Mm-hmm. And then we're also encouraging as well, in addition to like digital billboards and social media, trying to go the extra mile with some personal communication. So like Julie said earlier, we don't want these to be used like en masse because we have like certain emails that we're sending out to people. And so we don't want people to continuously be like bombarded by emails because that would defeat the purpose. But say like you have someone you know who personally like you think they would be willing to give to your county or like 4-H program on Day of Giving, and you want to send like a personal text to them to let them know about it, we have some like a sample like text message like script that you could send them saying like, hi, and then you put your name in. Do you love working with, and then you insert like your county name and want to give back. So you can kind of read through that. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but you can either like, again, copy and paste and just fill in the blanks with like your county name and stuff like that, or you can make it more personal because you know what your friend will respond to better than we do. We just wanted to make it easy for you in case you're not that great of like a writer or don't really know what to say to them. And then we also have options to, if you want to update your email signature and have it every time you send an email, you can have like the Day of Giving logo with your county URL. So every time you send an email, that people will be reminded about Day of Giving as well. And then, like I said, there's photos for you to use in the image galleries. And then for event logos, we have certain usage guidelines for logos. So something I will mention is with the lockups that we have with like the Day of Giving logo files, make sure before Day of Giving when you're promoting things, if you're creating your own graphics, only use the ones that say March 25th, 20 on them. For the actual like Day of Giving, you don't need to have like the date on there. But we want to make sure before Day of Giving that it has the date so people know when this is actually happening. But there's a link to go to so you can have that actual like file to put it on your graphics that you're creating. And then we also have just some helpful links at the bottom. So you can go to NC State's Day of Giving website overall. This is kind of just like a landing page that explains like what it is. And then just a menu with like different things like an ambassador toolkit. They're going to be posting like social media challenges up there, which we're not really participating in the social media challenges, but just so you can see kind of like what it's looking like from a university level. That'll be the landing page that people can go to.
So I wanted to just let you guys know a little bit about what will be happening on campus that day. We will have kind of a war room, so to speak, set up where Sarah will be kind of coordinating all of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences and Extension communications. So for our NC State Extension social media properties, we will be sending out thank you notes, you know, like giving shout outs to folks who don't necessarily want their gift to be anonymous. So if we get a larger gift, you know, we'll be kind of giving a shout out to whomever. We're not asking that anybody in the counties do that, but just be aware that if your county does have, you know, a sizable gift that comes in, you know, someone gives us $500 or $1,000 or something like that, we will probably connect to you as the local representative or possibly to your CED if you're not the CED, so that the next day when you're in the office, you can kind of give that shout out locally. We're not asking you to do the immediate kind of stuff that we'll be doing on campus that day. So just be aware that if something like that were to happen, or if you could be like if you have a milestone like on your 10th gift or your 25th gift or something like that, we might ask you to do just a little quick shout out thank you note that day. So very low maintenance as far as that goes, but that could be another little ask depending on, we don't really know what to expect in terms of county giving this year since this is the first time. But we'll just kind of play that by ear.
Yeah, and if you do have time though on March 25th, it wouldn't hurt to kind of just monitor your channels and see, look out for like any replies for things that you're pushing out on your channel. So if someone replies to you saying like, hey, I just like donated like X amount, like sending them just like a simple like, thank you so much for supporting like Watauga County Cooperative Extension. We really appreciate that. Like,
well, so speaking of that, since we are linking, there's going to be a direct link. How are those funds? I mean, are those funds going to be? Where and how are those funds going to be utilized? So, or am I late to that piece of info?
So Kathy Kennel, I wish she were on the line. Kathy, you can speak up if you've joined us. Kathy Kennel is the person to direct those questions to, because I think there's counties can be set up in a lot of different ways in terms of those funds. I will say that there's not really any mechanism by which to drill down. So if you have a specific endowment or something like that, that's not necessarily an option that people can give to. They would just choose to give to your county, to that agricultural foundation fund or however that is set up for your county. That's between you and Kathy.
I mean, what if a county, and not that they will, but say one particular county had a true rainmaker. I mean, are all those funds, like say someone, donated $100,000 or $200,000. I mean, I don't know if that would happen or not, but I could see some cases where, and I'm not talking about equitable distribution amongst all means, but I don't, are the counties, will the counties, I guess, be set up to be able to manage a level of funding that could be impressive? Now that the stock market took a dive, who knows, but I could see some significant donations coming in, and what kind of, it seems like this is kind of a first time thing for direct funds through a major fundraiser coming to a county, other than like the Tractor Supply, Clover fundraiser.
I'm going to have to direct you to Kathy Kennel, Jim, because I'm afraid if I tried to answer that I would create more questions than I did, give answers. So let me encourage you to talk with her individually. She's expecting a lot of phone calls or emails, so she'll get back to you as quickly as she can. I do know that if there is like $100,000 gift or something like that, I would fully expect you to dance on camera in a video that then we could push out to. We'll just kind of leave it at that for now.
You're on. We've got a lot of rich second homeowners up here.
I will say usually, because we did this, we had this happen a lot last year at the college level. When we had significant gifts like that, usually we knew about them ahead of time. It wasn't just some like random person deciding to donate $100,000 on the day. And then we kind of planned out, okay, when do we want to drop that money to encourage like more gifts? So we kind of had some like fun with that. But also, like, just keep in mind that when people are donating to the counties, it's usually just to, like, in general, it's not to a specific fund. So also when you're creating content, try not to highlight, like, a specific fund within the county. That's something that Kathy was telling us, too. And if you are trying to do that, then, like Julie was saying, connect with her. But I know, like, from like a college level, we have, for instance, 12 departments within CALS, and they're kind of competing against each other for money. And I know kind of the department head's going to be the person who's like in charge of figuring out, okay, our department raised like $1,000, like this is where the $1,000 are going to go to. So if I had to like guess, there would be, I don't know if it would be the CED or someone who would like determine where in that county that would go to. But again, just talk to Kathy and she can give you a more correct answer.
And Jim, I would also say, if you have somebody in mind as you're asking that question that you think might make a gift like that, go ahead and talk to Kathy about maybe how you would want to approach that person, because I imagine you would want to reach out to them personally.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I can imagine,
Yeah.
some counties being surprised at, the level of funding that some donors, decided to chip in and really don't have anything, I mean, they'll eventually find somewhere to put it, I imagine, but it just creates a kind of a question. It's a good question mark. Good. It's a good problem to have if you get that, but that was the main reason I was asking the question.
Okay, very good. I'm going to ask Justin Moore real quick. Justin, have any questions come in through the little chat box?
Yes, they have, and I am trying to answer them now. I think the only one remaining was a question about, well, where'd it go? Oh, will each county be able to monitor the amount donated throughout the day? And you all might know better than I do on this, Julie, but I know that after the fact, we'll clearly be able to see what came into each county, but I don't know that we'll be able to see in real time what's coming into each county. Do Julie or Sarah, can either one of you all clarify that? Am I wrong there?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we kind of have to look at the infrastructure that we have. The system that we're using to track donations is something called Periscope. So we can see kind of in terms of individuals who have donated, but I don't know if that system will be able to like aggregate the number of individuals who donated to a specific county in real time. That might take some back end work on our end to figure out, okay, how much money really went to that fund. So we probably wouldn't be able to update you in real time, but we will let you know if that does become a case.
And like I mentioned earlier, if there is, a more significant gift that comes in, I think that they'll kind of, advancement will sort of have their eyes open for that and say, oh, well, I need to look and see where this, $500 gift came from. And in those cases, I think we would find out a little faster and we would just reach out to let you know individually. But there's not going to be somewhere online that you can go and just see what's happening in your county.
Yeah. We would be able to though see like how much money has been given to Extension overall. So like a total of the county and 4-H donations. So that'll be on the leaderboard.
I guess one thing I do want to just say about Day of Giving as a fundraising strategy is that it's really designed to be sort of a grassroots giving. I mean, there are major gifts that are planned and they come in through this, but a lot of times the goal is to get people who've never given before, to get them kind of over that threshold. They make their first gift, they're more likely to do it in the future, and those gifts tend to grow over time. So introducing this to even young people, because the minimum gift accepted on Day of Giving is $10. So it may be that it's a way to get people thinking more about sharing with Extension the benefits that they've had as they begin to work more and more with you.
Yeah, and actually something to think about in terms of strategy is if there is going to be a large donation, it's almost better to break it up into multiple donations from that same person, because one of the ways we're ranked is the number of gifts that people have donated to. So I want to say last year, CALS, which Extension would fall underneath that, was second in total number of gifts. So we're definitely trying to get first this year. And another goal is to have a gift come in from every county in North Carolina, which we weren't able to do last year. So since we are present in every county, we're hoping that through Extension, we can really make that goal a reality. So that's something else, another reason why we're trying to really enable you all to help spread the message, especially through those like one-to-one communications and people .
Any last questions? I think we've kind of covered all of our content, but we're happy to ask questions now, or if you'd rather, you can connect with us one-on-one.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. We're here to help you and support you in whatever way. So we look forward to catching up, and here's to you guys, raising some funds for your local efforts. Thank you so much for being on the call today.
Thank you so much for taking your time. And one thing to remember, the hashtag is GivingPag, if you're using that in your communication. So keep that in mind too.
All right. Have a great day, guys.
Bye.